Have you heard about this new movie? It's in development. It's called Billy and Me. It's a biopic about the singer Billy Joel, and on paper, sounds like a dream for his fans, right? Early years, the struggles, the music industry backstabbing, the road to Piano Man. Who wouldn't want to see that? Am I right? Turns out, Billy Joel. Yeah, Billy Joel himself doesn't want to see it. Why? So the music legend is publicly blasting the project, calling it legally and professionally misguided, and making it very clear he did not sign off on this movie. According to Joel's team, the film does not have his life rights, may not be able to get the rights to his music either. Question is, can you legally, ethically, practically make a Billy Joel movie without the singer's permission or music? Got to bring in Todd Spodek. He's an attorney who represented Anna Delvey, who had mixed reactions about a series that Netflix made about her, and he's here with me now. Congratulations on the Knicks. You're wearing it very well.
I come shining.
You have. Is it legal to do this if somebody doesn't want to move? It's not one thing to just be mentioned. A biopic, it's about them. They don't want their sign-off on it. Can it legally be made?
Absolutely. Billy Joel is a public figure. He's been in the spotlight forever. They are allowed, under the First Amendment, to make a movie that they think is appropriate. Billy may like it, he may not like it, but they have every right to do it whatsoever.
Where do they get into defamation? I'm not saying they're going to get into defamation territory, but where do they get into legal liability about how they portray him?
I think what happens is if they're basing it on a true story, on real events, and it's not so outlandish and it's not so salacious, then they're in good legal standing. If they start putting things in there that are just outside the realm of possibilities, things that did not happen, are untrue, there's nothing to support it, then there's a claim for damages.
Is that a legal term based on a true story? If you put that in there, that's a problem?
No, look, that's not going to shield you from liability, but what it does is say, look, this is a version of the events that are based on the true story. And that's totally fine and totally legal. It gets murky when you have everything the same.
Well, what does it mean, life rights? If he didn't give them his life rights and they can still go, they can still make a movie?
Yeah, so they could still make a movie. These are all, avenues to avoid litigation, right? So companies, movie producers and studios want to buy life rights to shield themselves from any future lawsuit, basically saying you infringed on someone's personal privacy.
But according to your argument, it wouldn't matter. He doesn't have a shot, so why does it matter if anybody, gives off their life rights and if they have no case?
Certainly. Well, people want to avoid litigation if they can, and in this case, they would very much like to have the life rights.
He has no successful argument whatsoever in court?
Absolutely not, no. He's a public figure. They're allowed to make a movie about him. They can't use his music, and they can't use certain things that are copyrighted or, protected pursuant to some sort of legal agreement, but they could make the movie, of course.
I was reading, was this movie just going to be about his early years before the music? Which, all respect to Billy Joel, interesting guy, but people want to know about the music career.
Well, I think that's the whole part, right? The Piano Man, before he was the Piano Man, is a story that has not been told. That's why there's value in it. That's why there's this scandal. That's why he's concerned. Why would he be concerned otherwise?
How is Anna Delvey's situation a little bit different or similar? Because I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, she signed over her life rights. She gave the material to the producers, didn't like the end product, right? There were inaccuracies. How was that different?
Well, it was different because, in fact, she did sign over her life rights. So she contracted with Netflix to be a consultant on the series, to provide information and consult as to what really happened.
Meaning, did she have to sign off on it like, I don't like scene A, I don't like scene B, this one's not accurate? Like she was like a producer, creative consultant?
No, she was a consultant as to what happened, but I don't think Netflix was concerned whether she liked it or not. I think it was more of providing some truth as to what she was feeling, what she was going through, why she made certain decisions.
So let's say for a moment, and I hear you, but let's say for a moment, Billy Joel, has some sort of legal standing here without signing his life rights. My understanding with this movie is this film is his former manager's perspective, and his former manager provided the life rights to the filmmakers.
Exactly, that's correct.
How does that affect it?
So that makes it legal. It's one individual's view of a relationship before he was a giant star, and that's a valuable story, and those life rights are valuable, and people are interested in finding out who the person was before stardom.
See, here's the thing. Everybody would want to see this because they want to see Billy Joel. They love Billy Joel. If he's not supporting it, he's not a part of it, I do wonder if it's going to hurt the viability of this film, but also if it comes out and he badmouths it, can he be in legal jeopardy?
He has First Amendment rights to. Okay. He's allowed to. But think about it. If he badmouths it, he's just drawing more attention to it. That's the dream come true to the producers of this.
And so, in other words, as we're looking at a big picture, whether it's a celebrity or it's you and me, whatever it is, we're all facing the same kind of situation about people making films that portray us or movies that portray us. There's no special privilege for a celebrity.
Absolutely not.
You said public figure, but...
Particularly for someone who puts themselves out there. It's public interest. People are interested, and you could do that. Even private figures, you could do that.
Okay. Gave me things to think about. Todd Spodek, good seeing you.
Always
Thanks for taking...
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.